Well, if I want to first thank everyone that took to Twitter and tweeted your questions for the weekly Q&A. It's been a little while since I've done one, so I felt like it was a good time to bring it back. You should probably follow me on Twitter as well. Twitter handle is in the description box below. And smash that subscribe button if it's your first time checking me out. It'll be worth it, promise you. All right, and I have a feeling because of the number of questions I got that this is actually going to be broken out as a two-part Q&A. For part one, we'll probably upload Monday night, the other part Tuesday morning. So if your questions don't get answered in part one, they may get answered in part two. I'm trying to get through as many of them as I can between the two parts. So let's go ahead and get started. Geo Knows asked, how much do you think the long-suffering Bears fans influence management to change their outdated and out-of-touch mentality and really go all in with this draft? I think you are giving Geo entirely too much credit to the Bears front office. And frankly, you're giving way too much credit to Bears fans. You have a lot of Bears fans that still think running the ball in defense wins championships. Like, that's the type of intellect you're dealing with. You still have plenty of Bears fans that have longed for Trubisky to come back into the fold like they thought he was actually good. He sucked. That has nothing to do with it. It really doesn't. Nothing at all. I think it was more like Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy saying, oh shit, we got to do something, than it was anything else. At Blazin 1978, next question. Did the Saints make a mistake by not picking a quarterback in the first two rounds? They picked Ian Book in the fourth, if I'm not mistaken, they did, whom you had as an undraftable prospect, because I did. Do they really see something in Taysom Hill? Well, they either really see something in Taysom Hill or in Jameis Winston, or I don't know what the hell is going on here. I had talked about in the Ian Book scouting report that there's a lot of things you like about Ian Book from a football character standpoint, from a toughness standpoint, from a competitiveness standpoint, a winning standpoint, but the tools just aren't there. He's Trace McSorley 2.0 to me. But only time will tell if they made a mistake. Really. Only time will tell. Now, where they were picking that late in round one, especially if they weren't able to move up, like you could make an argument that if some of those other guys that were picked in the first round at QB pan out, like what could the Saints really do? And if none of the other quarterbacks taken after their pick in the first round or even the second round pan out, then did it really matter? It's a fair question to ask, and again, only time will tell. At Shader asks, the more I watch Justin Fields, the more I'm convinced they shouldn't try and change his throwing motion right now. He's crazy accurate, and I feel like if he changes motion, that might start to dip. What do you think, Jeff? I don't think he's crazy accurate. I think you may not want to fundamentally fully change the mechanics, but I would like to tweak them and improve them a little bit. Like, it's part of the deal. Like, even when you do something well, you could potentially still improve upon it, get better at it. So I don't think you automatically just go totally hands-off. But if you totally try to break it down and build it back up from scratch, like that could create some issues. And, for the athlete, in this case, Justin Fields, you're talking about this is what he's known, this is what he's done for so long. Like, all of a sudden you do too much to tinker with the toy, so to speak, and you break the damn thing. And he loses confidence, and he loses his feel, and he loses his instincts, because he's thinking about what he's doing versus just actually going out there and doing it. So I don't think it's the most pressing issue for Justin Fields. It's not going to be the thing that holds him back from success at the NFL level. So I wouldn't get too caught up if I'm the Bears and trying to fully rebuild it, but tweak it a little bit? Yeah, sure, why not? At Wrath Everett, excuse me. When was the last time the Bears were good besides 2018? Well, I mean, you had 2010 where they made the NFC Championship game. You had 2006 where they made it to the Super Bowl. 2005 they were a division winner. The sad thing is these seasons are too few and far between. 2001 when they went 13-3 and won the division. Had a home playoff game in the divisional round. So those are some other times. Now, you get a blip in the radar. It's like every few years you get this blip where they're really good and then it levels back out for the next several years. At Vin Los Panuso 91, what are your favorite memes? Sports related, politics related, and just in general? I don't care. I really don't. I don't think about that type of stuff. So, can't really answer the question, Vinny, because I just don't invest bandwidth in thinking about that. Kelly Watts, Minkovitz. I hope I said that name right, Kelly. If I didn't, I apologize. What do you think of the Detroit Lions' chances of making the playoffs in the future? Some of it you could say could be impacted positively by what happens with the Packers in the Aaron Rodgers situation. If Aaron Rodgers ends up getting traded, which I'm still not sure that I believe that that's going to happen, but time will tell. Um, I think for the Lions, they better hope Jared Goff plays well. And maybe he'll come there that first year, have a little bit of something to prove, and they'll change the makeup of the team a little bit, get a little less dependent on the quarterback like it may have been in previous years with Matthew Stafford. Head coach Dan Campbell might bring a more physical approach and mindset to the team. So I would say this. If you were asking me to bet on the Lions being a wild card team in the next 2 years, especially with the slightly expanded format, I would put money on that. Making a run, different conversation. But if you said by 2022, do I think the Lions make the playoffs? Yes, I do. Spinner Media YT asked, how did you get into the credit industry and how do you like it? It's called, I needed a job. And I had previous experience and relevant skills in banking, so I went and applied and got a job in banking. I like my job because I work in regulatory and compliance monitoring, so I manage a team, so I like the fact that I'm able to be a leader that help kind of guides others on their career path, help them achieve bigger and better things for themselves. I like the fact that my job, focuses on things like ensuring that our bank is adhering to the law and that we're not doing stupid, idiotic things, that we're not putting customers at risk and not misrepresenting what we're supposed to do or what we say we're going to do. It's one of those few jobs, few roles that I could have working for a big bank that I didn't feel totally icky on the inside about having. Let's see here. Also, would it be good for the Washington football team? What would it be good for the Washington football team to do at the quarterback position going forward? I think we have screwed our draft position for a while. Yeah, they should have been trying to go up and get Justin Fields or Mac Jones. Either way. They should have been trying to go up to get one of those two guys. I don't know why Washington and even the fans of Washington have this fear of drafting another quarterback. Yes, Haskins didn't pan out, but that was just a mistake in and of itself. That doesn't mean you stop doing it. And they kind of have this resignation of, we'll go the veteran route and build up the team around him and then bring the quarterback in. And that's going to work out how? It's been almost 30 years since you won your last Super Bowl. You need that young quarterback to build around, period. At California EST 96, what are your thoughts on set divisions in college football under one conference banner? Like having 6 12-member divisions broken down into regions and they all play a shot. What? No. Honestly, it just sounds too fucking complicated and convoluted and change for the sake of change. You could build out an 8 or 16 team playoff, 12 team playoff. You could do any variation of that based off of current structuring. There's no need to radically shake shit up like that. That to me is silly. They get the tournament right every year when it comes to college basketball and make that a massive moneymaker. They could do better with college football. And I don't think it requires that type of radical, dramatic change. At Blackspace999, who is more likely to lose their job first after seeing how both teams ran free agency in the draft along with getting COVID opt-outs back? Is it Nagy and Pace or Spielman and Zimmer? I think it might be Spielman and Pace because they had a lot of work to do on that defense. They don't have a potential long-term answer at the quarterback position if you go just strictly based off of first-round pick. Now maybe Kellen Mond could develop into becoming that guy potentially. But if I was looking at whose needle's pointing downward a little more right now, I'm probably going with Spielman and Zimmer. I can't lie. At Spenny P19, do the Chicago Bears need to start Justin Fields week 1? Yes. Yes, yes, yes. This whole notion of, Patrick Mahomes sat behind Alex Smith in 2017. Yeah, except for the fucking fact that Alex Smith was already a 2-time Pro Bowler in his first 4 years with the Chiefs. It's different. The Chiefs also won at least 11 games in 3 or 4 of Alex Smith's seasons as a starter. Andy Dalton's coming off of a crappy run last year as a backup and sometimes starter in Dallas. That's crazy. And even though still, when you talk about the Alex Smith thing, to me, it's still stupid. They shouldn't be validated for that decision because all they did was waste a year of a generational talent on the fucking bench. And to the clowns that sit there and say, Aaron Rodgers sat behind Brett Favre for 3 years. Look at what the fuck you're saying. He sat behind a Hall of Fame quarterback for 3 years. Andy Dalton is an average to below average NFL starting quarterback, especially at this stage of his career. Justin Fields is the best talent. Justin Fields is the guy that you have the most invested in. He's the one on the rookie scale contract. It is of utmost importance in today's NFL game. You got to find out what that quarterback has early. The Chargers almost shot themselves in the foot. Luckily for them, the Tyrod Taylor injury happened. It sounds terrible to say, but it's true. After one game, it was Herbert the rest of the way. And now the Chargers feel like they're progressing forward. They feel like a real deal contender. They feel like a legitimate threat to usurp the Chiefs in the AFC West. All right? The Bengals, at least with Joe Burrow, they feel like they saw enough to say that he could be our franchise guy, even with the injury. They feel like they haven't seen enough to say where he could be the guy. Miami doesn't fucking know. They sat Tua for 6 games. Then they brought him in, but they didn't really have confidence in him to leave. It's like, he's in, he's out, he's in, he's out, he's in, he's out. And now they go, and people talking about how great the Dolphins all season is. Like, the bottom line is, A, they fucked up when they took Tua over Justin Herbert. That was stupid in and of itself. And then you turn around this year, they better hope to God Tua becomes the guy, because if not, everybody involved should be fired, because that means that fucking Lance or Fields or Mac Jones or maybe 2 out of those guys that they could have been in a position to draft, they passed on, all because they didn't have the dude in. You got to play these guys early. You've got to find out. And people got to get out of this dated mindset and dated thinking like it's dumb. Furthermore, I think from a talent standpoint, Justin Fields gives you the best chance to win. So it's the best thing for the future, and it's the best thing for now, especially since you don't have a first-round pick next year. I'd rather try winning 7 games with freaking Justin Fields than 9 games with Andy Dalton. That's progress. That's talking about the future. At Kuiper_3. Who do you trust more from a scouting perspective between Dan Orlovsky and Chris Sims? They are both former quarterbacks and have 2 similar roles but at different networks. The answer is Jeff Schlegel. That's me. That's who I trust more when it comes to the quarterback position. Yeah, there you go. I said it. At the Tommaso Bryant, do you think any teams post-draft that drafted a new quarterback will be good enough to be Super Bowl contenders? If so, why? Also, what teams that haven't been good recently do you think set themselves up for success in the near future the best? I think the Chargers have certainly set themselves up well for success in the near future. That would be one team that I would certainly point to. Any teams post-draft that drafted a new quarterback will be good enough to be Super Bowl contenders. This year? No. That's a bridge too far. So I don't think so. At Tony_Summer. As a Chiefs fan, I'd like to know your opinion on Kyle Long. Do you think he could still be a quality guard for us? You know, Kyle Long is a perfect type of signing for a team like the Chiefs. You get the name recognition of being the Chiefs and the 2-time defending AFC champions, Super Bowl champions. You've got the Hall of Fame head coach. You've got the generational elite level quarterback. So a guy like Kyle Long was going to want to kick the tires on trying to get a little more out of his career. These are the type of low risk, potential medium to high upside guys that your team should be gambling on. The big problem with him is, can he stay healthy? Maybe taking some time off will help keep his body fresh. Then there'll be a piece of, can he still play with taking some of the time off? I think he could, if he's healthy and he's right, he could still be a somewhat quality guard for the Chiefs this year. And it was absolutely worth the gamble for them to make, because it wasn't really much of a gamble. At BPEF00, when do you think everyone will realize the Raiders only draft guys in the first round who played in the college football playoffs because of the only college games that Mayock and Gruden watch all year? God damn, it sure feels that way, doesn't it? It sure does. Because otherwise, it's hard to make heads or tails of a lot of what they're doing. Although you could say a couple of years ago when they took Colton Miller, he didn't play in the college football playoff, but in general, goddamn, yeah, kind of a good point. Maybe it seemed to be the only games that they're watching. Is Ted Fired yet going to close out this Q&A by asking a very simple question? How concerned should we be that Nagy will stunt Fields' growth and ultimately ruin him after just one season? You should be somewhat concerned, because he didn't exactly tear the roof off the place when it came to helping develop and mold and cultivate Trubisky. Some of that is on Trubisky, but some of that is also on the coach. Do I have ultimate faith and confidence in Matt Nagy? No, I don't. And he has done, I want to repeat this, absolutely nothing to indicate that he deserves the benefit of the doubt. Thank you, everybody, for submitting your questions for part 1. Part 2 will follow up soon enough. Stay tuned for that one.